Tonight we're hearing from Virginia Beach's police chief, who is speaking out after the grand jury's decision about the Donovan Lynch case and as the Lynch family pushes for a federal investigation. News 3 investigator Zach Dahlheimer sat down with the police chief, who talked about his thoughts on the decision and how his department has changed since that deadly shooting.
Right here near 19th and Pacific at the Virginia Beach oceanfront, you'd find this, a memorial for Donovan Lynch. Now, this is what it looks like 8 months after his death, an incident on many minds this year that came to a decision announced this week. Chief Paul Neudigate says that will weigh heavily on the community for some time.
This was a tragic, horrific occurrence for Mr. Lynch, everyone involved in our community.
Virginia Beach Police Chief Paul Neudigate speaking to News 3 after news that the officer who shot and killed Donovan Lynch would not face any charges, citing self-defense from a special grand jury report.
We wish that these would never occur, but unfortunately they do, and now we have an obligation to take a look at them to see where we can make any changes where appropriate.
Chief Neudigate says he hopes the big takeaway is police hearing immediate concerns on calls for an outside independent investigation.
As an organization, the Virginia Beach Police Department had never asked for an outside entity to come in and investigate a police-involved shooting prior to this. So this speaks to the changing nature of law enforcement.
We also asked Chief Neudigate to clarify conflicting statements during the investigation as to whether Lynch had a firearm at the time. The special grand jury report ultimately indicating that Lynch did have a gun.
When an incident like this occurs, we're trying to give the community immediate information. But like I said during my press conferences, it's all preliminary because we had not done any formal interviews. We had not reviewed any body-worn camera footage at that point.
As for changes the department has made since March, Neudigate says they've taken steps to improve transparency, especially with body cameras. He tells us they have 100% deployment from the chief to new recruits. Also, their body cams, once the officer hits record, can automatically go back and record 2 minutes of video.
I think there is an opinion out there that the police are resistant to body cams, and that is absolutely not true. It helps protect us when we're engaged in proper activity, and it gives the community that sense of accountability and transparency that they're looking for.
And when asked about the Lynch family pushing for a federal investigation,
what's your response to that?
You know, that would be up to the U.S. Attorney to take a look at the facts and review the case.
We reached out to the FBI's Norfolk field office. A spokesperson tells us that the office is aware of the situation regarding the officer-involved shooting of Donovan Lynch and will review all available facts to the incident to determine what federal response is warranted. In Virginia Beach, Zach Dahlheimer, News 3.